got to give props where props is due. Arsenal are Premier League champions for the 25-26 season. If you're a rival fan, you probably won't give props where props are due, but you've got to. Based on the fact that they were the best team, the hardest team to beat, a team that won the league by doing their job, and obviously it confirmed by Man City not doing their job against Bournemouth. You've got to give credit where credit is due. The celebrations, the 22-year wait for Arsenal Football Club, you've got to accept that it's undeniable, the fact that they've won this league. Take bias out of it, take hate watching out of it, and just look at it for what it is, if you can in this moment. You've got to be honest and say that at the end of the day, if you're a club that's waited 22 years to do something big, you're going to do everything that's required to try and get there. Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, the acquisition of the players, the changing of the style of football, all of the conversations about if they don't, what will happen, the fan base, what are they going to think, pundits, you name it, rivals, everyone will have had an opinion. And most importantly, the changes he's made have now proved to be the correct changes. Since he's come and where he's got to, his first job, he's won a league. His first full-time job as a manager, he's won the league. After years of having to compete with City and Liverpool, two best managers at one point. One left in Klopp, one remained, and he's managed to topple the best manager, in my opinion, in the world since your old managers of yesteryear, your Fergusons or whoever you want to name. He's managed to do it while Pep Guardiola is here. So 22 years, you've got to accept what is going to take place now from the Arsenal fans and the Arsenal Football Club in terms of them lapping it up. And I don't blame them. No Arsenal fan should care what anybody thinks. Any rival, any pundit, nobody should care, because at the end of the day, imagine if you've waited to do something after 22 years of first doing it. Imagine how you will feel. And forget football for now. Briefly, imagine doing something that you've done in your life before and you ain't done it again. Something that you've wanted to do, but you've only managed to do it 22 years later. Imagine how you're going to feel and what you're going to become like, right? Take in consideration that they, Arsenal, are the champions, and they have had to go through nonsense prior to this point. It goes back to the Wenger days. It goes back to the days after entering the Emirates Stadium. When they moved in 2006, the standards of the club dropped. That's a fact. Lack of investment for Wenger, couldn't compete with the teams that were there. The Chelseas who started spending money with you know who. United were always the team that spent. Couldn't compete. And they were known as a banter club. So do you think Arsenal fans should give a damn what people think today in 2026? They were a banter club. A club that was a joke to a lot of fans. They were a soft touch on the pitch to a lot of pundits. Didn't have a plan B. Couldn't know how to win. Didn't understand what it is to win. No leaders. Right? Those were the conversations. So, after this amount of time, Mikel Arteta has come in and has won the league. Done his job by winning it, by winning his game that he had to do against Burnley. And obviously, as I say, Man City slipping up against Bournemouth. Some people, this is their first time seeing Arsenal become champions. 2004. Some people, a lot of them ain't of age to even remember, or not even born. I remember Arsenal winning the league in 97-98. So it takes in consideration, you've got to look at different fans from different eras. The next step for Arsenal should be to try and win as much as they can within the time they can. But the key is, Arsenal should not give a damn about what people think. No fan base who have waited for this long, who have been made a joke in the media for all these years, should give a toss about what people think. So, North London, wherever Arsenal fans are, I have to give credit where credit is due. They've done their job. They're going to finish second Oh, they finished second 3 times in a row. Oh, they're going to do it again. We think Man City are going to do what they do. They couldn't hack it. Pep didn't even speak of them when he was dominating in certain high regards, didn't even have them in their eye of vision. It was Liverpool. But now Arsenal are there. The conversations have changed. Arsenal players and Arsenal fans, this one is only for them. Even a rival fan on Twitter had to mention the fact that Arsenal fans, say what you want about them. Every fan base has annoying fans. I don't care what anyone says. I've seen a lot on Twitter that is cringe in terms of what people say, right? About different clubs and even different clubs that exist on Twitter that have a big audience. I've seen so much on there in terms of cringe-like moments for every club. But there was a Liverpool fan who even said, these scenes at the Emirates, I can't even hate. They are a proper football club. What's even worse, though, is when you have to feel your rival celebrate and enjoy. And I don't even know why, to be fair, this team is called a rival based on their history. But I guess to make things interesting, they're considered a rival. But it's even worse when they have to be amongst the celebrations. I'm sure he had a good, joyous, involvement in the celebrations and had a good trip home. But, like I say, Arsenal fans shouldn't care. They're now going to be insufferable. Some of the words I've heard rival fans say about Arsenal. So, again, these are all things that you can collate so much information about what has been said about them. And now you have to accept the fact that Arsenal are a team that have got over the line. Detractors made so many assessments on them in the last couple of years, particularly the last 3 years when they finished second for 3 years in a row, right? They've always assumed City will catch them. Because that hasn't happened, it now makes people who spoke too soon look incapable of understanding a team's progress, the moments that they were missing, rivals were missing, the changes in the team this season, the additions that have taken place in the summer. They have been missing the things that Arsenal fans, if they're honest, have seen. They've seen how it's harder to score against them. They've seen the things that have been improving in their squad and how they positionally set up. But other fans were just looking at the fact that Man City of yesteryear or of a couple of years ago have caught Arsenal and have always finished ahead of them in the chase, right? They've not seen the changes that Arsenal have been making during the season. Say what you want about the style of football, but that has been predicated on winning this league, of adapting a team to make it harder to play against, for the most part, to have less clear-cut chances against them. So those things were happening while rival fans kept saying Man City will catch them, not looking at the intricacies of the things that were taking place on the pitch. If you want to really look beyond, expansive football is not taking place, look beyond that and see, then again, it's harder to score against them, and they are still scoring goals. So when fans were making assessments, they weren't taking consideration every aspect as they should have. And this is why they will look silly.
Arsenal fans won't want to hear this, but I'm saying it from now, yeah? City are going to win the league. City are going to win the league. Because by the time we get to January, February, March, by the time we get to like March, I think by then Arsenal would have already fumbled it. They're already going to start stumbling. They're not going to be able to maintain their composure because they don't finish the job.
These were some of the things that a lot of people were saying. Expecting the same second place finish due to the fact that they weren't looking at the little changes that were taking place in the team, which generally enables a better chance of winning big trophies. Again, making it harder to score against them. That's what Arsenal were doing. Creating other ways to score goals. Set piece FC. Do you think Arsenal fans should care about the term set piece FC? They should be lapping it up. Creating ways to score goals. That is the aim of the game. Scoring to win. They've managed to do that. They never had a plan B, as I said earlier, right? That's what a lot of people used to say years ago.
They've been top of the league all the way now. Come towards the end of the season, the history of the football club, what we know about this team, what we know about Arsenal Football Club, what we know how every season they finish second, they come back, they find a way of making sure that they finish second. They love finishing second. They absolutely love it. They absolutely enjoy it. And I've said it, the only reason why they've not been criticizing the manager is because they're top of the league. And now the point is drastically cut down. Now it's from 9 points to 3 points. If City wins on Wednesday, they go top of the league. And that is going to be the first time that Manchester City will go top of the league. And I think if they do go top of the league, I think it's very tough to knock them down.
If they go top of the league, I think it's very tough to knock them down, mate. That is the problem, mate. If they go top of the league, we know the history of the club. We know they're known to finish second. We know what they are about, right? John Obi, all of this stuff is proof you don't know much. The changes that were being made in terms of how they were setting up. There were changes, small changes of making it tougher. And since then, you've seen why they've won the league. A tactical change. Positional sense had changed. Moments of the Skelly edition. Moments where Rice sat in the six and was pinging balls and allowing the more creative players to come in. Even Odegaard's addition back into the team in moments. Eze, all the things that people in the rival, fan bases weren't seeing. It was just about creating a way to be tougher to beat, and then obviously moving the ball in ways where they can affect opposition. And then you saw what was happening. They weren't conceding goals. You saw the Fulham games. You saw the Burnleys. It was a way to win the league. It was a tactical decision. And it's something that has been happening for a while. It's only now happened to get over the line. So when you hear stuff like this, they love finishing second, he says. And now look.
And I think with Arsenal, my point I'm going to make here is Mikel Arteta finishes fourth this season, which I think is, to be fair, 50-50. I do. I think that still it's a long way to go. If he finishes fourth, he almost in some ways is as good as he can probably get. That's sad.
It's a stepping stone. Do you not feel like it's a stepping stone in Champions League recruitment, and then you can build and build
United,
and build
Chelsea, where can they go? Because they're not going to compete.
United.
United will recover. They throw that much money on it.
I mean, you spent an hour talking about how they're going to take ages to recover.
I know, but my point is I'm not talking about recovering to get above Arsenal. That won't take too much of a recovery.
Look at that Liverpool team pre-Klopp.
I'm just saying, Mikel Arteta for me, I think he's a brilliant coach. I love the idea that when I see a team and I can see the maximum is being achieved with those players, I can see exactly how he wants to play. We all can. But he gets to fourth. If he was really hard about it, he'd probably say, right, that's the best I can do there. I'm going now. I'm going to do my next job. It sounds crazy.
People at that time were speaking only because they were not seeing the development that was taking place enough. So they jumped out, spewed their opinion. Their bias against Arsenal was speaking more often than not. And their expectancy was he might as well leave. He might as well say, oh, I can't do enough. I'm not good enough. Like, he has to think from that perspective. That's what they wanted. For another man who has his way of thinking, his belief, they wanted him potentially to say, you know what, I can't do anything. Hey, Mikel Arteta, you wanted him to tell himself he couldn't do anything. But he has to live in his own mind and assess what he thinks. This is the problem also. He had the confidence to say, you know what? And also the backing, most importantly, from the club to say, you know what? All right, I know what I'm trying to do. I'm building something. I know I have to change the style. I know I have to acquire these players that I maybe couldn't get in 2022 yet. I have ideas. But why am I going to walk if I'm still getting backed and I'm looking at things that maybe over time, once I can acquire them, that will make me have a better chance of winning. Why should he think, oh, I should walk? Maybe he should walk if they were fighting relegation, like another North London club.
Light that up. Hey, let me tell you something. 22 years there was laughing, there was joking, they're not laughing anymore. Look, it's gonna be shining, look. It's gonna be shining bright.
Enjoy your
Yes, dude! Yeah!
Fans of Arsenal continually keep moving in the way they should. This is how people were moving. The confidence in 04, in 02, in 97, 98. But a lot of people weren't there to see it. So now, with social media now, it's going to be even worse. And again, if you're a rival and you've waited for something for 22 years that you've wanted, and it's a prize that you've wanted, you will do the same thing too.
Yeah? What? And now we're holding the bottles. Yeah!
It's not just what's happened in 2026. It's the years prior. It's the Bayern Munich defeats all those years ago. The 5-1s. It's the 6-1 at United. Remember those ones? Even when Henry was in the team. It's those 8-2s at United. The annoyance with the past and the joy of the present. You've got to take in consideration that. And if you don't, nobody cares.
If I'm honest, I'm not too interested in what people think and how they feel about us winning. I just know that we've got a team that is more than capable and has proven that we're of the highest level. And when we do win, it'll be down to everyone else to deal with that, I guess.